I'm back. I'm back. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Max. Here we go. It's the Super Saturday.
Here we go.
Soggy live stream. Some tiny travel tweaking thrown in for no extra charge. I'm buffering already. We got no signal here. Ah, there's something here. Oh, hopefully that's not going to be an issue. Welcome in everybody. Come on in. Let's see this. So we've got literally zero content this morning. So this will be an Ask Me Anything kind of deal. You guys make the content if you're into that kind of thing. Because today is literally a nothing day. Good morning, Dad. Just a minute to set up here. As per the usual routine. How'd you like them Savannah Bananas last night? Exciting game, yeah? Oh, it's finally remembering my preferences here when I set up a video. Oh. The algorithm is learning. It actually remembered all my settings. So I didn't have to manually set them. That's weird. Sure, I got comments on here. Let's check everything. Comments are on. Okay. Go with that. We'll go with that. Let me find the chats here. Say proper hello. In bed early. Sorry about the lighting here. See, it's kind of bright behind me and dark in front of me. It is super wet here today at the tiny Tweek home, the A-frame lakeside cabin. So needless to say, the auction is postponed until further notice, which is okay. I mean, it would have been great to have it all done today, but not a big deal. I think if there's a delay, then we can actually print up some posters and stick them up on some bulletin boards in the area and draw even some more attention to it. So whether it's next weekend or the following weekend, get more of a crowd out for when the hammer actually falls on the auction block there. So that's kind of cool, because just the whole circumstance of how we're bringing auction items to the auction right up until this week. And so for the auctioneer, that was a little frantic to get everything set up. And so we weren't able to make promotional posters. He usually has like just a small sheet, upcoming auction with the date and some pictures of some items. And some of my items weren't ready for pictures. Like I hauled that riding lawnmower early last week. So, but today is kind of a nothing day. Just kind of hang around the cabin, maybe go clean up, take a shower, wander into town. There's nothing to do in town today. Max isn't into doing anything. It's a little too soggy to go fishing. Maybe by this evening it'll be a little better. But we've gotten probably close to an inch since last evening. So that kind of drowns out any ambitions I had for doing stuff today. That's okay. I could use just a day of next to nothing activity. So there we have it. I just wanted to come on here. See who finds this at 9:30 on a Saturday morning here in southeastern Manitoba. I did get a hold of my RV guy, and so he's got the parts he needs to get the thing running. It was a fuel sending unit, it goes in the gas tank on this particular model, so that was something we were waiting on, and so he'll slap that in tomorrow, Monday. We'll have the thing running and get an idea of when it's going to be roadworthy, because it's got to go for a safety inspection, and we'll take it from there. So we'll probably be in this A-frame for a few more days beyond my week that I have it reserved for. Otherwise, I'll transition into maybe just a tenting site. And once that RV is ready, I'll just move my stuff into that and either stay here for another period of time or move on, find a different location to camp. But this is pretty nice here. It's really cool. Dad, you missed it last night. Hey, welcome in, Justin. Thank you for the Larata Corporation and your continued support on the Travel Tweek blog, whatever this is. Today this is not even a travel tweak, it's just a generic tweak, I guess. So yeah, in the title I put AMA. This is an Ask Me Anything kind of stream, so I got no content for you. You want content? Ask me questions. So, always quick on the keyboard with the emotes. Good to see, good to see. Always on the ball there, Justin. How are you doing this morning? Am I doing Smurf coins? Well, for one, I don't know what a Smurf coin is. I don't know what pump is. I don't think Bao knows either. So for the time being, I'm going to, I think somebody said in the chat, you can get 1,000,000 Smurf coins for 6 cents. So I don't know, maybe I could get a few billion and see where that gets me. I'll ask the Badger. He did a late night Tweek stream last night, so he left it up, so I watched the replay, and it was covering mostly the DMA and frauditor troll lawsuit, which, yeah, I totally agree with Bao. I want to see that frauditor troll just taken down. Sure, there's freedom of speech, but he's just a dick. I mean, I don't know. Like maybe it's a personality thing, but I've seen his content and it's just toxic. Like just leave people alone. Like it's like he's stirring up internet drama for the sake of drama, and benefiting monetarily from it. So claiming he's in a different genre from the auditor community. Well, no, you're part of that community. You're commenting on it just because you're saying you're anti-auditor or a frauditor. Like it is just conceptually, it's just so dishonest. So yeah, I want to see him taken for everything he's worth. I want to see him living in a tent with his 2 kids and his ogre wife that makes these weird squeaky Chewbacca sounds. Like it's just, I don't know. Go Denver Metro audits. Get them for all you can. Like wipe out that frauder troll channel. Like I guess what bothers me is the people that watch that content and consume that, like it's of some benefit. Uh, I don't know. It's just I have mostly feelings about it. And Jason Zwock did a good commentary that Bao was covering last night as well, or early this morning. And yeah, I love Jason Zwock's analytical, just dissecting of all the issues and like picking apart the nuance behind what's going on. Great analytical thinker there, and yeah, it's just there's something about this frauder troll. It just doesn't sit right. I mean, there's auditors that don't sit right with me, but like I don't need to go out of my way to point out their foibles or whatever. If they're doing something truly illegal, fine. Uh, but just being abrasive or exercising your rights, like that's fundamental to American culture, right? And it seems like the culture has just taken a U-turn, especially in the States. And this channel could easily be content about the culture war, but I've kind of given up on that as far as trying to fix that. Maybe it's laziness on my part or apathy, but it's sort of when you see the writing on the wall, it's like society is taking a really drastic turn, and a lot of the normies or people refer to them as sheeple or whatever, like even these derogatory terms, it's like they're starting to lose meaning. And so it's this divide and conquer agenda, if you will, by the mega media powers and those that control them. And it's sort of like you're not going to win that battle. Or I don't see that the strategies we've employed up to now are going to turn the tide. There needs to be some kind of mass awakening, and people are just willing to tolerate so much oppression and totalitarianism and authoritarianism. That just boggles my mind. Like, where is that coming from? Old stock, homegrown Canadians and Americans, they're just going with the program. And so that's what puzzles me. It's like, how did this come to be? Now, there's a percentage of people, it's probably 20-25% that are resisting, but I kind of feel the solution is to just withdraw. Just do your own thing. I don't know that people's minds are getting changed by Chile de Castro or Denver Metro audits or even frauder troll. Like, fraud control is not convincing me that auditors need to be exposed uh, or denigrated in the way that he's going about it. Like I'm just not seeing that. Like it's not convincing either side. Like people are very resistant to changing their point of view. And whether it's strictly First Amendment issues, as you bring up your dad, or anything, like it's just fundamentally there are ideas that have been injected into our consciousness, our social consciousness, our collective consciousness, and people are just accepting these novel ideas unquestioningly, like no critical thought whatsoever. And that's going to be difficult to train an entire society how to think rightly, or at least analyze and process what they're being fed, because it's a steady diet through the media of new ideas that they wouldn't seemingly adopt on their own. Like they go counter to your human nature or your intuition, in that like it's a good thing to replace all your young employable teenagers with immigrants, workers at fast food restaurants. Like it's a phenomenon here, and it just happened seemingly overnight. So you got all these jobs that normally would have gone to high school students or whatnot, working at the gas station, working at the Subway, working at the McDonald's, and it's just you go places and it's all these temporary foreign workers or what have you. It's like that's not teaching our youth how to be productive, because like what do they do now? There's nothing left for them to do. So let's see here. To end around First Amendment issues, to do damage control and consulting with DAs and government, there must be a digital financial trail. Keep going. I'm not instantly grasping what you're trying to say there. I know there's something good in there. It's kind of an incomplete, or it doesn't click immediately with me. So I know you're not trying to propagandize. See, here comes more rain. And the rain is kind of drifting in towards the deck here, so my back is going to get all wet. But there's kind of a, yeah, you can go inside, just stay on the towels. Max actually slept in the truck last night. He was kind of not soaked to the bone, but you could see he was shivering and he didn't want to sleep outside, and I didn't want him in the cabin. I don't want to get all doggy smelling, so I got the door open now, some towels on the floor, so he can hang in the dry cabin, as long as you don't go off those towels. Right, buddy? But he wanted to sleep in the truck last night, so I stuck him in there. It's nice and dry. But yeah, we're going to get probably another inch of rain at least today. But yeah, my instinct is to just not ignore what's going on, but withdraw from it and just do my own thing. Because, and not draw attention to yourself necessarily. Just mind your business, kind of covertly do what you know needs to get done. And generally you're not going to get bothered. And that's always kind of the way I wanted to live. Like I'm not interested in being an activist of any kind, transforming the system, taking down the system. That's, even if all 25% of the people that can engage critically with the issues, that are have the desire to change society. I don't see that maybe if every last person started a YouTube channel and started blasting out there, uh, we're not going to take it, you know, and blasting out the Twisted Sister as their theme song, we're not going to take it anymore. Uh, I don't know that's going to do anything. So this YouTube activism, I'm highly skeptical that there's going to be any utility in doing this. So I don't talk about these things necessarily. I'm talking about it now. But I'm saying that using Canadian citizens to do what would be unethical and unconstitutional using U.S. entities. I'm still not clicking with your thought process there, Dad. Canadian citizens do what would be unethical and unconstitutional using U.S. entities? Like what? You're gonna have to clarify which U.S. entities and what kind of unethical things that Canadian citizens are doing to foment the instability in your country. I mean, the instability here is that our culture has been transformed and it's not very sustainable. Psychological operations, yeah. And that's, I guess, part of it. Like, once you see the PSYOP, just don't participate. You withdraw your consent. And that's essentially what I do. I withdraw my consent from being a tool or being a victim or being operated on. So, Warren consulting with Shannon. Yeah. Oh, Shannon. I wonder what you're up to this morning. Probably watching Matt abuse your dogs and yell at your kids as he settles in to watch some college football, scream at the television in a rage. The frauditor gets access to all the body cams. Yeah, but even like reforming police policies, procedures, protocols, like that's never gonna happen. Like some of these things we just have to face, unless there's like this hard revolution where we do a hard reset, like French Revolution, American Revolution style. Like, I don't think there's the will to do that. I'm not interested in that. So there's big problems, and I'm not saying put your head in the sand and just to be avoidant, but it's to be wary, to be shrewd, and just carry yourself accordingly. Within the context of what you're doing. Like, not everybody has the freedom that I do, where it's just me and a dog, and doesn't matter what happens. My motivation in life is to provide the best life for my dog at this point. That's my major responsibility. What happens to me is I'm just taking things day by day. So not everybody has the latitude or the freedom to just kind of cast their cares to the wind. Whichever way the wind blows, that's the way you go. But that's sort of how I've lived my life. And it's not irresponsible. It's just choosing a more liberating way to approach life. So, have I always succeeded at living the most liberated life possible? No. You get distracted. You get the cares of the world and stresses and stressors put upon you. But it's just as a guiding principle is like, there are things that are out of your control, and you just have to acknowledge that, face that square on, and just say, well, I'm not going to let that affect how I live. So yeah, I'm not in any ways saying that people doing their activism should stop. Bringing awareness to certain issues is a good thing, but it's sort of how many more police dash cam and body cam videos do we need to see before everybody understands the police are just brutal maniacs? Like I don't need to see any more content on that. Like I was convinced before I started watching, highlight reels from Chili DeCastro, and love Chili. I'm not in any way saying Chili needs to stop what he's doing. This is his thing. This is his platform. His business model is to provide that kind of content. But it's like I don't need to see that anymore. Like I was convinced before that police are not working in your best interest, and just the more I see, it's literally beating a dead horse. So. And by dead horse, I'm not saying this is for the YouTube AI. I'm not saying to start killing horses. That's just a figure of speech. You understand that, right? So Bao was discussing it on his live stream. That's why I brought it up. Oh, you're saying using... Okay, so Josh is the Canadian citizen specifically. So Josh being a dick and doing things that... See, the thing with YouTube, it's... Hey, good morning, Condensed Reality. The thing with YouTube, they have their own terms and terms of service and policies. Are we still live? Okay. It's a Goid morning. Goid morning to you. So YouTube is not interested in First Amendment anything. They're interested in their policies, and so somehow they're working within the umbrella of the U.S. Constitution to provide a platform to do what they want to do, but they get to dictate what happens in their... This is their house, and they make the rules. In my house, I make the rules. In my house, Max is not allowed off the towels. And so when you're in somebody else's house, you got to abide by their rules, and YouTube has their rules. Just like for me to come into the United States, the U.S. is a house, and I have to abide by their rules. So, and that goes with any of these platforms, Facebook, etc., etc. So I'm not trying to red pill everybody on how social media works. I'm still learning how it works myself and trying to understand it, but it's like using YouTube to transform YouTube. It's not... It doesn't naturally follow that if we start producing content that's going to make YouTube bow to our wishes, like that's really not going to happen. So we got to accept that we don't make the rules here. And that's just the reality of it. Like whether you like their rules or not, if you don't like their rules, then you go somewhere else. So that's kind of the unfortunate reality where, how do you storm into somebody's house and say, I make the rules here now? So what DMA and Fraud or Troll are doing is they're trying to, or DMA is trying to punish Fraud or Troll for using his likeness, misrepresentation, etc., through the legal system. And so that's fine, because he's not going to get much satisfaction out of YouTube. So the First Amendment is a very small part of YouTube. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians don't get along and are trying to undermine their own. I used to have a First Amendment channel, but quit. Yeah, like I was thinking I was gonna do cop watching. It's like there's no point. Like I mean, the cops up here they're the same. It's I've explained this before. Our system is different because we don't have a prison for profit system. Just because we don't have the resource and the private investment where your your prison gets filled and they're already building the next one to fill up, and everybody's profiting along the way. We don't have that kind of entrepreneurial capitalistic drive to process that many Canadians and get them through the doors of the justice system. It's we don't have the manpower in the police force. Like people aren't getting into policing. We have a limited number of federal prisons to house, uh, felony lawbreakers. Just use an American term. We don't use the term felony here. But the behavior is essentially the same. Like they, there are cops that want to help people. You can make the argument all cops are bad. I think at some fundamental level, even if you're coming into the profession with the best of intentions to help people, I've talked to cops, they get satisfaction on the people they can help, but they're tied up with the bureaucratic uh, police union. They're tied up with endless paperwork, administrative duties that they never anticipated having to deal with. So it's a flawed system, and First Amendment auditing channels are not going to transform that system. Like the bureaucracy, or to use another term that I've used previously in this channel, the status quo is not going to change through activism. It needs like this mass awakening. And I don't know how to do that. That's beyond my pay grade. So it's not being a defeatist, it's sort of being just a realist. Like there's not a simple solution. Well, the mass awakening, that's my simple solution. But how do you cause that? Did anybody see what was happening in, I think it was Nepal, where they just tossed out the president and replaced the president essentially through Discord and installed a new president after ousting the former leader? I think that was Nepal, right? That just happened this week. So that's wild. Like why can't we do that here? If we could just march down to Ottawa or Washington D.C. and say, "Listen, you guys, you're done," or "We've had it." But then people get upset. I mean, the humans. The government regulates YouTube. There's possibly a hidden hand that's pulling strings there. Like there's the networks and the rat channels, they run pretty deep and far. And so those entrenched networks and systems, that's the problem. Like we need to do a major excavation of the entire site, not just YouTube, like the entire terrain, the entire territory, the entire landscape needs a total renovation and change the status quo. And that's kind of been, again, sort of a guiding principle, is I just go against the status quo as best I can. And it's not even conscious, it's conscious. It's just part of me. Like there's something in me that just bristles against going with the flow, going with the crowd, doing what everybody else is doing, no matter how silly, stupid, harmful it is. And so yeah, the government is not, or the visible portions of the government are not even the problem. It's those entrenched bureaucratic systems. And that is extremely difficult to manage as a person who has literally next to no voice or no sway, no influence. Even like these major, like Mr. Beast, you know, the biggest YouTuber in the history of the universe. Even if he were to try to influence, to make some kind of change, like if he thought the way I did and said, we're gonna bust up against the status quo and demolish it, that wouldn't be, he couldn't do it. If you took the top 100 YouTube influencers and TikTok influencers, I don't see that. Like I want that to be a reality, but just because I want it doesn't make it so. Are you tracking with me? Like the problem is bigger than we're even seeing, and I'm just slowly getting to see more and more of not the big picture, but the problem we face. And yeah, maybe this is the will of God, that we have to face this sort of tyranny and trust that it's all part of the plan in some way. So I'm not going to turn this into a sermon or get religion involved, but this is some really strange times we're living in. But it's more than just getting on a platform, using your social media to put on display a problem and propose a solution. Like, I don't think we're all grasping the magnitude of the problem. So I don't let it get me down though. Like, it's because I know I can take care of myself. I don't need the system. I utilize portions of the system to make my life easier. Like this is the balance too. It's like the system does provide some stability, some benefit, but the harm that especially we're seeing with the rise of tyranny now, like, are you guys aware of these online harms bills and proposed laws that they want to control the internet, right? For the sake of the children, you know, won't somebody please think of the children? And it's digital tyranny, right? But even if they did that, so what? I would discard YouTube. I'd discard essentially the internet and just go do my thing. Like, I don't need to be on YouTube. I like being on YouTube. I like hanging out. You assert your autonomy just by going and doing and living the life you want to live. And so YouTube and being a YouTuber is part of my autonomy. But if somebody were to take that away, like, I wouldn't be harmed in any way. I wouldn't, my quality of life wouldn't diminish at all. I would improvise, adapt, overcome, you know. Like, YouTube is not a need in my life. And so if that suddenly disappeared, my ability to come and tweak on a live broadcast here, so, like, you think that's going to stop me from enjoying life? Like, that's ridiculous. So that these threats to my autonomy are not legitimate threats. And I don't know, maybe it's an ability just to see the psyop, and it's like your psyop is powerless. And I think there's power in that. So I'm not trying to teach a lesson here. I'm just unpackaging what's going on between my ears here, telling it how it really is. But it's like, for years I was saying the easiest way to live is to be homeless, because all you have to worry about is where you're going to sleep that night and what you're going to eat. And if you're living in a major center, there's no shortage of places that are willing to clothe you, feed you, and shelter you. As long as you could stay clean and off drugs and not be panhandling for booze and cigarettes. I mean, you just exist. And it's not much of an existence, but there's no responsibility when you're homeless. Your only motivating factors are food, shelter, clothing. But there's any number of mercy ministries and government funded aid facilities that you could be homeless and do quite well for yourself. I've got stories. A friend of mine, he employed a guy and didn't find out for like a year that the guy was living at like a Salvation Army shelter. His wife had left him, like this awful divorce, and she took the kids and everything he had. And my buddy put to work at this plant, and he didn't know the guy was living in a shelter. And the guy showed up for work like he was Johnny on the spot. The guy had a good work ethic. He was disciplined. He was reliable and responsible. And you would never know that he was living in a shelter until like one day you found out. I was like, holy shit, this guy's literally living in a place. But the beauty of that is, and at the shelter, the guy would volunteer and help for extra perks and benefits. I think it sounded like kind of working at the shelter was mandatory. So I don't know if 100% of the people were required to work. Like some people have disabilities. They can't, there's some things they can't do, but whether you're on laundry duty or housekeeping or helping in the kitchen or, the cleaning staff or whatever, like everybody's got duties at the shelter. And this guy would work his 8-10 hours at the plant and then go work after hours at the shelter. And, he was fed, he was clothed, he had clean bedding every day on his bed. Like my buddy's like, I don't have that. I come home from work, I gotta make my own meal. Nobody's changing my bedding every day. Like, what am I doing wrong? So it's kind of comical, but that's the reality. Like your responsibilities are so much lower when you're not trying to live the American dream, right? So there's an irony in that. And so, yeah, I'm not saying go and be homeless. I just use that as an illustrative scenario to kind of tweak people's thinking around things. It's like, yeah, we worry about this and that, and the kids got piano lessons and soccer and ballet and this, and then I'm volunteering and coaching in the teams, and then there's these social gatherings and all this stuff we do because it's, quote, normal. You'll own nothing and be happy. Well, I guess define own and define nothing, because that's that famous quote. But it's like, what do you need? Like, okay, I like to own my truck, just that I have the freedom to use this item as I see fit. I'm gonna utilize that as a tool to help me get to where I want. But if that were somehow taken away from me, I'd improvise, adapt, overcome, and find a way to do without. I mean, it's like, I, that's just me. Like, there's really nothing you can take away from me. Like, it's just stuff, right? Like, everybody dies. That's the one statistic we can't avoid. 100% of people die. And all that stuff, it doesn't count towards anything. So, now there is, you know, generational legacies. I think that's a legitimate thing. If you can pass things down to your children and grandchildren and the generations that follow, like to be that figure in your family, like that, I think there's huge value in that. But I have no kids. I'm not going to be a generational transformative factor in my lineage. So it's like, that's one less thing I have to worry about. But as far as owning nothing and being happy, is like, yeah, just go live on the land. Go find some crown. Here we call it crown land. It's owned by the government, but go find some land that you could just squat on and build your little hut in the woods, or go to Coconut Crab Island and eat coconut crabs, and away you go. I do wish it would stop raining because I gotta go pee-pee. But I guess when you hear that phrase, you'll own nothing and be happy, you're comparing it to all the things you think you own now. Really, they own you, depending on how you handle possessions. And that's not a judgment on anybody. It's just natural. This is my stuff, you know. I worked hard for this. But it's like, how much of that stuff do you need, right? Other than coffee. If somebody, that would be the one thing though. If they took away my coffee, I'd be fucked. So that's my Achilles heel. I mean, these I could. I'm already getting tired of smoking, so I'll probably quit in the next 10 years or so. But I don't know. I do think I hold a different perspective on some of these things. Like, people do meet me and say, you think different, you know. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go and get wet, and I'm gonna make the ground a little bit wetter outside the cabin. So you just talk amongst yourselves for about 45 seconds, and I'll be right back. Much better. Oh, doggy, you got soggy again. Oh, soggy doggy. Well, you don't have to come near me and make me soggy too. No, go on a towel. No towel. Go, towel. There you go. Good boy. He listens good. So the right to possess the things you need. Yeah, like it's, and this is what is just boggling to me, is like built right into your constitution, the way that you all agreed you want to live in the United States. Like it doesn't resemble that at all in practice in 2025. Like the words on those pieces of paper, they don't seem to mean anything at this point. And that's kind of the psyop too. It's like those constitutions, they don't mean anything. But people will die over that piece of paper. Like there's a psyop in that. Because I don't need a constitution to do what I want to do. Like is that true or false? I guess it comes down to enforcement. If I'm doing something that somebody doesn't like me doing, it's up to them to enforce their will on me. And if you don't have the ability to enforce your will over another, well then I can do what I want. So we're getting a little philosophical here, or the philosophy of rights. And I've looked at this for years. I mean, I've got recommended reading. I've read some Larkin Rose. I love Larkin Rose's content on YouTube. I've heard others talk about the Law of Nations. I forget the writer of that. You know, just people back to the Enlightenment, philosophers, etc. I haven't done a deep dive, but it's sort of all these words written on paper. They may all be true, but when it comes down to it, like you need to know what's best for you, and then govern yourself accordingly. And I think that's biblical. What is it with cigarettes now? They just go out. You know, gotta keep hoovering on them. Pansy ass cigarettes, sorry ass thing. I just interrupted my train of thought there. So it's not being a sovereign citizen, because I've looked at that approach. Oh yeah, about it being biblical. Like quick Bible lesson. So, you know, God made the heavens and the earth, blah blah blah, Genesis 1. Garden of Eden. Then man became increasingly wicked on the earth, so he wiped out humanity with a flood, except for 8 people: Noah, his sons, and their wives. And then along came the law with Moses and the wandering in the desert. The children of Israel were doing grievous things in the eyes of their God. So he gave them a codified way of living. And there was no government. God was the government. And after the first 5 books of the Bible, called the Pentateuch, meaning the 5 books, is followed by the well, I guess you got Joshua and then the book of Judges. So there was this period between Moses and the kingdom of David. Well, it was really the King Saul was the first king that the children of Israel had, because all the other nations had kings, and the children of Israel cried out that God would give them a king, and God warned them through his prophet, the king is going to essentially be a tyrant, and there's nothing I can do about it, but that's what you want, so that's what you're going to get. But prior to the kingdoms and the succession of the kings of Israel, you had this period of time after Joshua died and Israel was in the land. You know, the 12 tribes were established in the inheritance that God gave them. God put judges, and the judges would determine how the law of God was to be enforced. And they were kind of God's lieutenants, if you will. But in that time, people lived and did what was right in their own eyes. That's the language of the Bible in the book of Judges in the Old Testament. And every man did what was right in his own eyes. So it's like there was a trusting. When there's the law, we're just going to use the law of God to govern you. And within that framework, you just treat people right and do what's right. Everyone does what's right in their own eyes. And then if you're doing something wrong, well, okay, you're going to get punished according to your behavior. But then with the reign of the kings, that all changed. The kings became tyrants, despots, abusive, political, power-seeking, corrupt. I mean, you could just write a laundry list of all their sins in being God's representative. Where before you had judges and every man did what was right in his own eyes, now the king, you were doing everything to serve the king. And that model, that king model, it has survived to this day. You know, whether we call it a president or an actual king, like they have on many heads of state in Europe, United Kingdom, Sweden, Denmark. There's all kinds of kings all over the place. Some are just figureheads. Some are just kind of ceremonial figures. They don't actually wield any power. But still, the people are there to serve the crown, not the crown ministering what's right for the people. And so that's what our modern system looks like. We just call our kings by different labels now. So how do you get out from under that? Well, just ignore the king. Just do what's right in your own eyes. Use the law of God to govern how you carry yourself through life. You know, be a responsible person. Have integrity. Do no harm to others. You know, love God. Love your fellow man. At least the ones that aren't trying to kill you. Be kind to animals. But people don't want to hear that. They want, when their neighbor does something that they don't like, they want the government to punish their neighbor. So, again, that's a mind shift. If my neighbor's doing something I don't like, I'll tell him, or you know what? Sometimes when you see the neighborhood is going to shit, you need to get out of that neighborhood. This is what I've seen Mark, Reluctant Prophet. It's like they are destroying his quality of life. And love Mark Kelly. But it's like you see the writing on the wall. Like you're not going to turn this ship around. Like just get out of Dodge. There's lots of places to go. And so if you're kind of held by sentimental ties, or you know this farm was in our family for 10 generations, or it's like that's not what's going to keep you going. You know, if you want to die on that hill, well, it could be a very bloody death. And the damage has been done. You hear Bowell say this, you know, it doesn't matter what you end up getting at the other end, they've already done damage to you. So part of the strategy too is damage mitigation. I want to limit the damage that any man or government can do to me. And the best way to do that is not be around for them to damage you. Like, it's kind of super simple. Because when you engage in the fight, is like there's casualties. There's always casualties. Whether it's your family, you may lose your marriage, you may lose your dogs. They'll come after your pets. They'll put restrictions on your house, restrictions on your freedom to move. And it's like they're doing damage day by day. And it's like you can avoid that if you kind of can detach yourself from this reality, what you think your life, and things that are really important to fight for. If you say, you know what, just hold everything very loosely. It's like nothing is that important, other than your children or your marriage, your significant other. But hold things loosely. Like, oh, you need this thing I have? Well, here, take it. You're just going to end up destroying it anyway. So if you think you do a better job with this thing that I have, it's all yours. Do your worst. So it's kind of an unconventional way of thinking, but it's like there's freedom in that. If you think you need this more than I need it, well, we'll see. We'll see. Because actually this thing that I'm giving you is probably replaceable. I could probably go somewhere else and get more and better of this thing I'm sacrificing to you. So it's kind of just that mindset. It's like nothing is that important that you're going to do damage to your health, your mental well-being, your spiritual well-being. All this stuff is replaceable. If that stuff really wants. Some of this stuff is actually weighing you down. So that's just my take on it. So I hope this isn't coming across as being a downer, super cynical. It's just there's a hard way to live and an easy way to live, I guess. I'm lazy. I like to take the easy route. Now, within limitations, like I said before, living with integrity, being a responsible person. I can't just neglect my dog or neglect things. And like there is sowing and reaping. There's consequences. Because you can't take any of it with you when you go. The only thing you'll have left after you're gone is your reputation. And it's not performing for others, but to be well thought of, well spoken of after you're gone. It's like that individual made a difference in my life, or my life is I sense a loss because that person provided value to me. Like that I think would be the greatest compliment after you're gone. Not, ooh, look at all the billions of dollars he had. Look at all the people he manipulated, to get to where he is. Like these billionaires and elites, they haven't learned that lesson. Like it's, for lack of a better term, there's a satanic motivation. By Satan, the Hebrew word actually means the adversary or the accuser. Get it, boy, get it. Reluctant prophet just lost his dog? As in, it passed away or they came and took his dog. I haven't been following uh, Prophet for a while. Just time restrictions. I haven't been following a lot of the content I used to. So I'm not up to speed on his situation. So you'll have to clarify if it was lost to the authorities or lost to just the normal cycles of life. But another great phrase from the Bible is, "This too shall pass," you know. So whatever you're going through is just like, this is a season. It might be a testing. It might be a refining time for you, a refinement of your character. And that's sort of my faith in God is I want to be of godly character. And if you don't believe in God, well, it's like you want the universe to, you want to be in congruence, cooperation with the universe, the forces of nature, the true powers that be. You want to, vibrate on those frequencies. For me, the frequency I want to resonate with is the heart of God. And so to develop in godly character, to be refined and like gold in the fire, right? So he had a post saying this dog was dying and he was going to the vet with him. Okay. And the local cops were harassing him as this was happening. Yeah, it's like that harassment can end with just a decision. So I'm not telling him what to do, but he's deciding on this path to fight. Good morning, Jody. How you doing today? Good morning, Mike. Oh, everybody's wandering in now. Welcome, welcome. So you guys missed my sermon. That's okay. So as I posted in the comment, or the title, there's really no content unless you guys provide it. I've just been rambling for the last hour. So this is an ask me anything. If there's something you want to know about what's going on, the rest of the content will be you guys picking my brain about whatever's left in those two brain cells banging against each other there. And the rain has kind of slowed down. It's super soggy. I'll bring you guys up to date. The auction is postponed due to rain, which is fine by me. Give us a little more chance to promote it. Mic number one is, well, it's 8:30 in the morning there in California. I think he's in kind of San Fran Bay Area. So maybe he's not looking for Brent content this early in the morning. I don't know. But I've got nothing to do today. So figured I'd turn on the old iPhone. Actually, I should play around with that GoPro later. See how the functionality of that thing fits into whatever it is I'm doing here. Oh yeah, mic number one missed the music haul that I got yesterday at the thrift store. Did you guys see that? Well, Dad missed that. Yeah, well, let's do that music haul again. I forget who was all in here when we were doing it. Jody, I think, saw that. You want to see the music haul? I don't have to do it, but I'll show you the music haul if you want. Yeah, we got a yeah? Okay, all right. All right, you twisted my arm. It's right here. So in yesterday's stream as well, oh yeah, what's the matter? You was here last night, so he saw the music halls. So I kind of came up with a new strategy to avoid laundry, which I hate doing. And it's just go to the thrift store and buy new clothes. So I'll be throwing out a bunch of my old soiled jeans. These jeans I'm wearing right now, they were ready for the trash a while ago. Because you can get good quality clothing at the thrift store. See, out again. Anyways, cigarettes are a little soggy from what? Finding cigarettes always go out. So I was picking up some shirts, some nice comfy fall shirts, similar to the one I'm wearing now. I picked up this t-shirt. This t-shirt that I was wearing. Superman, oh yeah. All rainbow color. Does that make me gay? So I'm a Superman now. But they had some vinyl there, but it was all pretty wonky stuff. Nothing that I had ever heard of. Mostly a lot of Low German Mennonite stuff, so I was not too interested in that. Actually, I should go pick some up and then play some on YouTube, see if there's any copyright strikes. That would be hilarious. I'll do that. I'll go buy some of these Low German choir recordings. See if there's any copyright strikes if I play it live on YouTube. That'd be an interesting experiment. But they had a CD rack right by the tills, so I was browsing CDs, and so I saw that usually the CDs are just garbage. But they had some titles. So this is the first one. It's like Kim Mitchell. Wow. I wasn't expecting this at the thrift store. So Canadian boy, Kim Mitchell. Just trying to remember what was the band he was with originally. Was he with April Wine at one time? Somebody can help me out. Dad would know. But this is live. So this is an album that got a lot of airplay on the radio when I was like 18 years old. Then we found, I'm trying to do this in order because I started going down. Presidents of the United States. And this one has the song Peaches on it. I used to love that song. That is such a groovy song. And it's also got a lump on it. So I'm looking forward to that. Millions of peaches, peaches for free. Millions of peaches, peaches for me. Oh, copyright. I'm gonna strike you. Bob Marley, legend. Come on now. Come on. At the thrift store. Come on, Bob Marley thrift store album. Highwayman by these guys, the Highwaymen. So we got Willie, Johnny, Waylon, and Chris. We got Truckin' Country. Come on. I know you guys are jealous now. Dave Dudley, Ferlin Husky, Waylon Jennings, Bobby Bear, Merle Haggard, Porter Wagner, Mel McDaniel, T. Texas Tyler, Tommy Overstreet, and Roger Miller. Bet you wish you were me now. John Denver Unplugged, Greatest Hits. So that'll be kind of a good one. And then we got into the really radical stuff. Grammy Award winner. I bought a Grammy Award winner, country female vocal performing artist, Gretchen Wilson, because she's a redneck woman. And yeah, I mean, woman sitting in a pickup truck wearing filthy jeans and looks like 10 cows just shit on her. Yeah, that's what I want. There's some tracks I remember on that one that are pretty good. And then our Canadian queen of country, Shania, greatest hits. I like Shania. She's got a great voice. I mean, Robert Mutt Lang, her husband. I mean, they put a formula together to make such widely appealing music. Like just, it's not musical genius, but it's working the system just to perfection. Like the whole image, the whole sound. Young girl from Timmins, Ontario, right? And then they had this Shania as well, Up. So there's, I know the song Up. I don't know if, oh, I'm Gonna Get You Good. I know that one. I don't know any of the other songs. I don't know anything else on there, but those were all 25 cents each. so yeehaw, that was a score. So there's the latest album haul, or music haul. So I think I did good there. And I found a nice pair of hiking boots, half price, so they were like $4 or something. Some t-shirt. I needed t-shirts. All my t-shirts that I like. A lot of my better clothes are in storage already in Winnipeg, so that's like an hour away. I had packed it up, and so I just had what few t-shirts that my last load of laundry before I left the house. I literally did laundry the evening I was leaving. Just whatever dirty clothes I was wearing for the previous 2 or 3 days, I just did one load of laundry, and I've been wearing those until I go to the thrift store and buy fresh clothes. So some of those shirts, they were just, the necks were all stretched out and they had stains on them, so they're ready for the garbage anyway. Well, you know, it stopped raining. Let's go for a little walk around. I can show you this peaceful place. Yeah, that's. I said we were gonna do a little tour, so we can do that. It is extremely peaceful here. So I showed you. There's my little studio set up there. I just had you set up in the doorway. So there's a little A-frame. The deck portion here, I'm guessing these are 12-foot deck boards. So the width is 12 feet and it's about 5 feet deep. Let's tighten this up here. So that chair came with the cottage. That belongs to the owner. I threw a bed sheet on there so that Max doesn't get hair all over it. This little table is mine. The cooler's mine. That other chair in the corner is mine. This little end table is mine. This end table was on my deck at the old house. This barbecue is something they provided here. I brought some cans for garbage and for Max's food in here. Let's keep that dry. I got some firewood, trying to stay dry under this side. And so there's this Nice little creek running behind the behind the A-frame. It's kind of a steep descent to get to the creek. I was fishing over here the other day. Kind of made my way down this rocky path, but there's really no good place to stand down there. So then I went a little further down that way, found a better spot. But the best fishing is over yonder that way. There's much better places to stand on the creek. And then we've got facilities here, my little bathroom setup. So just some washing water and towels, everything just soaked. There's solar power that they've put in. I want to ask them how much this cost them, because this is pretty much all the power I need at the moment. I'm not running any equipment or doing any welding here that I need a whole lot of volts and amps. And so then there's fire pit, picnic table, and this Pioneer Furniture. Oh yeah, the owner of this place, he had a company called Pioneer Furniture, and his stuff is all like rustic styled log furniture. So this table was there. There's another table inside the cabin, same style. And this kind of stuff is all across North America, and like lodges and hotels and stuff. So it was really a big lucrative thing, and the guy just in this area that was doing that. So out here, lakefront. So I'm situated on what was an old gravel pit back in the day. So those tweaker fisher people that came and dropped by last night, the one guy said this used to be known as Brown's gravel pit, Brown's gravel pit. And so there's other gravel pits on the other side of that big berm there, or that cliff. On the other side of the road, there's a Nelson River Construction does a lot of gravel mining around here. So there's still active mining, and you'll hear gravel trucks going up and down the road during the daytime, during the week. But this reservoir was dredged out, and they turned this all into an RV park. So there's RVs lined up over there. There's nobody here this weekend. I'm surprised. You'd think people would just come get away from whatever they're doing. But kind of as far as the eye can see, I'm the only person out here. I got this whole place to myself, and it's just beautiful. Go for a little walk down the lakefront, and yeah, the tweaker fisherman and his wife said this lake has been stocked with rainbow trout, but there's also these jackfish that have moved in. Those jack are feeding on all the rainbows. So the owner is encouraging people to fish for those jackfish, get the population under control. And I'm just seeing odd comments fly by. I'll have to sit down and see what's going on there. But just a gorgeous property. I mean, I had an idea when I was working for another gravel company back in 2018, 2019. I wanted to buy a property adjacent to one of their gravel pits, because there was a gravel deposit on it. And I wanted to make some kind of agreement with them where I would essentially be able to pay for the property based on the revenue from the gravel mining they would do. But they kind of declined. But there's this little little private beach area right here. It goes right down the water because back there it's kind of a steep drop. But the water is very deep here, and apparently there's fishing that can be done in this old gravel pit. But absolutely peaceful. I've got everything I need right here. I mean, town is 2 miles away for fuel and food and whatnot. The town that I'm near, Guntal, it's full service community. There's a grocery store, there's a couple of welding shops, mechanic shops, parts store, automotive parts store. There's a lumberyard. There's everything you need there. Thrift stores, gas stations. The only thing I can't find is frozen minnows there. Nobody's got frozen minnows. I found night crawlers, but not frozen minnows. So I'll have to drive a few miles. Next town is like 10 miles away, or not even, 6 miles away. They'll have minnows. And that's where the Vietnamese restaurant is too. It's St. Pierre. Ooh! Thought that was a hippopotamus running by. It's just Max. But yeah, this guy has owned this property for years. And there was, like I say, an active gravel operation going on here, and they've transformed it into an RV park. And him and his son bought property on the other side of the road where there's more facilities and more camping and more. There's another lake there. There's shower facility. I got shower facilities over by where those RVs are parked. So there's, I don't know if you see that orange excavator way off in the distance. There's a little steel shed there with a shower facility. Well, there's a nice beach, so people come use the beach. It's a lot of grass to cut. They cut all this grass. There's grass everywhere, and so it's quite the place. And at this time of year, I imagine at the height of summer, this place would be kind of a little noisier, a little more activity. But the mid-September to late September, not a lot going on out here. It's just me and Max doing whatever it is we do. And so yeah, back. Okay, where are we? You see that big rock? Where is it there? You keep going past there, where those far set of trees are. The creek goes down there, and it's very gradual slope towards the creek. And that, I was just catching these little fingerling pickerel on every cast. So maybe if the rain is supposed to kind of subside by evening, maybe we'll do some evening fishing. I'll show you how crazy the fishing is here. Well, I'm gonna set you down for a second. So just get comfortable there. I'll be right back. straighten out. Cattywampus here. So, I mean, yeah, what a change from the last property I was at. And don't get me wrong, I loved that property. I also hated it at times. Oh, are we gone? Are we gone? Are we still here or are we gone? Oh, hold on. Let me refresh this. Oh, I see. I'm using my phone as a hotspot and then my laptop. Once I went for a walk, it went away. So let's rejoin here. Yeah, come on, why you no look? You're here, says I'm not here. Oh, I am here. My laptop, my chat is not here. Why you no join? I see Reluctant Prophet has joined the chat. Welcome in. I saw that. Okay, now it's working. Let's reload. Get the show on the road. So yeah, I loved that property, but it was a lot of hard work, toil, struggle, working that land, a lot of frustration, a lot of heartache, but it was still very fulfilling doing it. But it was like, there were days like, what am I doing? This is nuts. But I got to do the things I wanted to do. I wanted to raise animals, sheep and pigs, and have a milking cow and chickens and dogs and cats and ducks and skunks and coyotes and deer and all that stuff around me. But yeah, I saw, I think Mike #2 said, like, you've got everything you need there. And absolutely, like, this is in many ways so much more enjoyable. It's not a lot of fulfillment here, but it's like, this is a great place to be right now. So your dog's still hanging on. Well, that's good to hear. Dead dog at the tracks, heartbreaking. How much is rent? So paying by the week, it was including taxes and fees or whatever, $520. So his regular rate was $85 a night, but I told him I'll take it for a week, and I'll probably extend that by a few days until my RV is ready. So I'll see what it'll charge me, but so far it's $520. I guess I'm booked until tomorrow night or tomorrow. So I'll have to get a hold of them today, so I'll stick around for a few more days in this A-frame. Realistically, if the weather improves, which it's supposed to through the week, then I could just go into a tent. Those are like $20 a night, and I have full use of the facilities. There's laundry across the road. There's shower right here. So that's, I still have access to all that. I just wouldn't have the solar hookup and the cozy shelter that I've got. But what this is showing me is that this tiny home living is actually doable. I kind of looked down on that at a time, thinking that tiny home movement was almost like a psyop. It's like they want you thinking small. And I kind of bristled at that idea, but it's sort of like, now that it's just me and Max, it's like, if anything, I would build a place similar in structure. I guess there's no shortage of getting plans online or designing your own tiny home, but as far as a place to sleep, a place to store your kitchen stuff, you know, bathroom facility, you can have an outhouse, a little more storage. You know, there's two twin beds in here, so yeah, you could sleep 2, 3, 4 people, I guess, in here technically. But for just myself, I would rearrange the furniture or provide different furnishings, but make it a little wider, a little longer, have a deck outside both ends, you know, doors at both ends. Not necessarily an A-frame, but this is pretty tight and cozy. And Max is loving it. And I don't know, it's not quite minimalist because I still have storage in Winnipeg with all my stuff. Like, there's some things I'm still just haven't made the mental leap to part with, because I see there's utility or value in it, like mostly tools. That's part of my approach, is things are just tools. If it can help, and by tools, it's sort of like an asset. If it's an asset to help me get more of what I want, or more of my needs, fulfill my own needs, then I'll hold on to it. But if it's just a thing that's taking up space, gathering dust, well, it's not an asset, it's a liability at that point. But yeah, minimalist, I don't think I could go full minimalist. I still do like my comforts and things, but as I was saying about half hour ago, like, I do hold on to stuff fairly lightly. So like, all this extra stuff is just more stuff to maintain and manage. But I see the appeal of the tiny home. Like, this is totally doable. Not in this climate, because it gets down to like 50 below in the wintertime. I guess if you spray foamed and insulated the heck out of this, it's doable. But water in the winter is an issue. But where I'm planning on going out west, it's much milder, much more moderate temperatures year round. So it still gets cold, still gets snow, but nothing like we see here on the prairie. Was it you or was it Mike Kane that liked Commander Cody and the Lost Mine? I think it was both of us. I picked up a Besta CD at the thrift and thought of you. Yeah, I think I got that same best of. Oh, I don't walk there. I drive there. I'm not walking all the way to the shower. That's crazy. It's like more than a quarter mile. I ain't walking. Don't talk silly. I'm just kidding, Jed. I would walk if I had to, but why walk when you got diesel power stroke? Be there in 15 seconds. Now I just want to live next to somebody who does that? Then I can just buy it and not have to do all the hard work. Yeah, I was saying a while ago too. I'm kind of lazy. I'll take the path of least resistance. Like I could build this structure easily, but it's like that sounds like work. How about somebody just get it all set up for me and I'll move in and buy it from you or rent it from you or whatever. I'll just take over. Like, don't get me wrong. I love hard work. I could watch it all day. But when it comes down to it, I try to structure things so least expenditure of my effort as possible. But I think you hear that saying, the older you get, you start shrinking. When people get smaller. I think it's happening. Like, what's up with this? Are my hands shrinking, or lighters never used to be this big, did they? And they had these at the Canadian Tire store in Steinbach. I was there the other day. I saw that. It's like, wow, that thing holds like 4 ounces of fluid. It's like, this is gonna last me a long time. So, last lighter you'll ever need to buy. And you're not gonna lose that thing. You're gonna trip on it and possibly break your big toe when you stub your toe on it. You got thrift shops, you got everything, pretty much. It's just they don't have ribeye at the thrift store. Well, here comes the rain again. It's gonna be off and on like this all day. So I'm gonna have to find something to occupy my time, because there's really nothing to do today. Nobody feels like doing anything, and I don't feel like going and making something out of nothing. So it's maybe some fishing later on. Go get cleaned up a bit. Maybe wander into town just to see what's going on. But I don't need anything. I got all the food I need here. I've got all the smokes I need here. I'm almost out of Dr. Pepper, so I might have to do a Dr. Pepper run. And that's about it. It's, as I was saying, in comparison to that big house and the big property, as much as I love that, this is just as enjoyable, if not more. Like, I don't mind this roughing it, cooking on a barbecue. Like, I've got a nice propane cook stove in storage at my neighbor's. It's just kind of buried right now, but I could cook a full meal on that. I've got my pots and pans, a cast iron skillet. I've got the wood fire pit. I was cooking up pork chops on that the other day. Oh yeah, that little pig, Junior. Oh my gosh, the pork chops. They've got a rind of fat on them, like this thick, but they are the juiciest, most delicious pork chops I've had from any of my hogs so far. Like, just perfection. Because pork chops come from the loin section, which is kind of right the strip along the back, and typically it's very lean meat and very easy to dry out, but these were just perfect. Oh my goodness. And the farmer sausage was just pork, salt and pepper, stuffed in a casing and smoked. Came out fabulous. My buddy took both shoulders to make his own sausage, so I'm sure he's going to be happy with that. But that pork was some of the finest I've ever eaten. Oh, it was fantastic. I'm so pleased with that. So yeah, I have enough food here. I don't need to pick up more pork chops. At least not at the moment. So that's it. So if there's any questions you have on this, ask me anything. I've been doing all the Been asking a few questions here. You can give me some ideas of what I could do today in the rain. Watch YouTube. What do you want to do today, Max? You got any ideas? I just want to nap, lounge around all day. I think that's a good idea, bud. You're in? He's down with that. So what else is there to discuss regarding my situation? Yeah, just waiting on the RV. The guy has the parts. You just got to get it running, get it safety inspected. And then the sooner that's done, I could stay here in the camper as well, in the RV. So 1978 Dodge, I forget what it was called. Betsy Boopsy or something, some gay name. But that'll be comfy living too. I'm looking forward to that, having a house on wheels. Tons of storage in there. Got a built-in shower and bathroom, propane, appliances, a furnace, 440 Hemi engine. So that thing will handle the hills in British Columbia quite nicely. And yeah, the thinking behind that was I didn't want to tow a trailer behind this, just because I will be going to urban areas, and pulling a long trailer behind a big truck. I mean, you want to go to the store, grocery store or something, there's parking, and I mean, I don't know about you, but when I see one of those truck and trailer combos on the highway, it's like, oh brother. And they're doing 10 miles an hour below the speed limit, and it's like, get a life, buddy. So I don't want to be that guy. Because really at the other end, like once I'm done with this RV, I'm going to use it on my tour, and then I'm going to drive it back here because there's still some legal matters to tie up at this end, and just whatever business needs to be wrapped up. I'll probably drive it back out there and sell it. And those kind of vehicles, they're at a premium out west because I guess there's a shortage of them. So if I buy it for to get it on the road, you know, by the time I get the new propane tanks and outfit it the way it is, it might be $6,000. I could probably sell it for 30 out there, Canadian dollars, mind you. So it's not a lot of real money, but. And then I would just either fly back here or take a bus back here, get my truck, and then drive my truck back out there. Because I'm gonna hold on to the truck. But a camper, like a trailer camper, I just don't like the idea of that. So my RV will be the tool to get the job done. As a temporary housing solution, and then once I find my locale, I'll be looking to establish something very similar to this setup here. Just maybe a little more comfort, a little more space, but there's some connections that I want to strengthen that will probably facilitate what I want to do as far as living like this, more so than taking on the burden of all these extra responsibilities, which I've done. Like I've done the farming thing. I kind of got that out of my system. I can go somewhere and do that again because I've got the knowledge, I've got the know-how, I've got some resource to make that happen, but I don't need to do that. I can go help somebody else out. Have you guys heard of woofers? It's like the World Organization of Organic Farmers. It's like this volunteer organization. where farmers find workers through this woofers organization. And it's basically just itinerant farm workers that go from farm to farm. And in exchange for room and board, you basically help out on their farm for a time, whether it's a day, a week, a month, a year, however long. And you kind of just go live on farms and be this volunteer farmer and have kind of your food and shelter needs taken care of. And it could either turn into employment or whatever. You could just keep traveling and farming and seeing different farms and how different people have their systems set up. So that's educational in one sense too. It's like I was farming and set up my farm based on my best instincts of what I felt was the right way to do it. But I was by no means doing it in a way that would fit in every application. So I'm interested in seeing if there's potential there to spend a year or two just doing this woofing thing and going from place to place, seeing how different farmers have their farmsteads set up, and providing some essential labor that farmers need. Like I probably could have looked into that as well and incorporated it into my farm, but just our domestic situation, it didn't quite fit in our context. But having a supply of eager workers willing to do stuff, that's a huge benefit to farmers. Because I could have easily housed and fed any workers that wanted to come. It's just the people we had staying with us and our situation, it just wasn't going to be a good fit. But as far as me being able to go work on other farms, that's a possibility as well. There's no need to go establish a permanent homestead of my own. I would have to hear it. Maybe I did like it. I can't remember. I'm not sure what you're referring to. But that's an interesting concept. Just volunteer farmers going from place to place, providing labor, and their own know-how. Like I have stuff in my noggin that may translate into somebody else's application that would benefit them. So it's kind of a win-win-win. And I like those win-win-win situations where, there's no, like it's transactional, but everybody benefits, right? I've never seen a lighter that big. Well, mark this date on your calendar. This is Canada, the land of big lighters. Big honking lighters. I got a green one, so it'd be easy to see too. So if I lose this lighter, that's my own fault. Unless the government comes and tries to take it away from my filthy farmer hands. My formerly filthy farmer hands. They're actually pretty clean today. A little bit of gunk under the fingernails. You can take care of that. So there you have it. This is my kind of short-term plans. Some of the stuff will be going down in the next week and then unfolding in the next month to come. But we'll take you along the way. Hopefully get that GoPro figured out. See how that fits into the live streaming process. It's a pretty good camera on there. It's a 1080p camera. So if I could figure out how to stream through that camera, it should work. Even if I use it through my laptop, I mean, it's less of a GoPro and more like just a camera. because really the appeal of it is you record video and then upload it later. But I like the idea of doing live streams for the time being. There may come a time where I do more just standalone videos that I shoot and then upload, but like the music content is conducive to that, but I can do the music content with live streams as well. But as far as listening to music, I'm just listening to music in the tape deck and the CD deck in the truck. I don't have any music audio equipment set up here. But once I get in that camper, I can bring my turntable in there and start enjoying some of all that vinyl I've been purchasing, and I got tapes and CDs I've recently purchased in storage. So all that'll get put into the camper, and my guitar. I start practicing guitar once I have time on the road. That's in storage as well. So I'll outfit that place to be a traveling, tweaking music extravaganza. So we'll see how that fits into the live streaming, and we'll take it from there. So I think that's all we're going to cover for this live stream, unless anybody has any pressing questions. I think we're just going to peace out for the rest of the morning, and if the weather cooperates, we'll go do some fishing later on. How's that sound? I think we're good to go. So everybody enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Don't tweak too hard, and by all means avoid any festering if at all possible. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.